Hello, everybody. Welcome to chapter 2 of our quest actual play. We are playing in a vaguely spelljammerish inspired setting, using some of the bits and pieces from that legendary old D&D set, if anyone knows it. But we are definitely playing in the much more modern, fluid, and contemporary take on fantasy that quest provides as a roleplay game. We are playing on the Gauntlet, which means we are bound by its inclusivity policy, its code of conduct, and we've set up safety and support tools for us to use. If it should occur, hopefully it won't, you might hear someone shout X, or we might use a stop or a pause to reset our expectations, what's happening in a scene. And at the end of the game, we will be doing a cooldown technique called Stars and Wishes, which allows us to figure out what we really liked about this session and the characters that we're interacting in here and what we want to see next time. Um, Other than that, we've got joined by our four adventurers for today. I'm Dave, I'm the GM, or guide, I think is recalled in Quest. I have Leandro with me, who's playing Hallow, Robbie, who's playing Varin, David is playing Abraxas Heart, and Chase joins us this week, who's playing Delos, a fighter, a young idealist. So when we last left our adventurers on Bral, it had been an eventful hour or two for our characters, where Varin had been asked to come as a date to the ball. Well, Hallow had met a beautiful woman who seemed to have porcelain hands like their strange porcelain skin, and Abraxas Heart had gone into a duel. Only one before breakfast this time for Abraxas Heart, which is probably quite good for them. So we want to learn more about Delos today and the mysterious Blue Rose and her plan to steal a spell jamming ship from the Iron Lords of Bral. Let us pick up, I think, at the night or the morning after the, let's say, the Blue Rose drew the adventurers who are here to meet them. I think she invites all of them, all of you, and sorry, get my characters back up. And Deslas to meet them at a warehouse which is down on the docks. She mysteriously says, I want to introduce you to the rest of the crew. Does anyone have anything they would like to establish or deal with beforehand?
I think I'm good.
And this is before the this is the day after we had our initial meeting, but it's before the big ball.
That's correct. It's the morning of the same day, I think, is the most likely scenario.
And is the warehouse that she has invited us to, like what would I know about the surroundings? I mean, is it in a sketchy part of town, or I mean, is this like an area where we would expect there to be illegal activities? Or
I think you would know very well that anything in the shambles or the docks counts as a sketchy part of town. So this is a busy trading outpost away from some of the major empires and species. So all sorts of things that probably shouldn't be traded here are traded here. And it is definitely the case. You definitely want to watch your wallet, your back, and your soul when you're traveling in these parts of town.
Well, if that's the case, then I think I before kind of walking in, I think I will cast my praise sense, which gives me an hour of a sharpened sense of danger.
So, to remind people who may be watching along and haven't played or seen Quest before, there tend to be two standard ways that we resolve things in this game. If it's not an ability you have noted, but your character is likely to be able to do it, you just roll a d20, and then there's a scaling resolution, which we've captured in the sheets here in the rule summary. Characters also have abilities. Abilities are powered by adventure points, and adventure points are dealt with or gathered back through awesome role playing and participating in the games. Most abilities have an AP cost. The more powerful the ability, the more the AP costs with it. Usually, with abilities, once you've spent the points for them, that's it, they're done. There's no rolling for them. There are a couple of exceptions to that. They're mostly ones where you're actually trying to affect the emotional state of a character, and it gives a degree of agency back. Okay, so Varin has just used Presence, which costs you 1 AP, right?
Correct.
Yes. So, and when we look at process, sharp and sense of danger, you feel a subtle signal in your body whenever you're you will be imminent to be threatened by another creature. And how does this manifest? How does it look if we see Varin using this? What does it look like?
I mean, I don't. You know, I don't think it's really noticeable. I think those who've been around Baron, who've seen him use this, you know, we've established that he has this kind of these a kind of scent that you know is around him, and I think that when he evokes this, there's a noticeable diminishment of that scent. And if when you do pick it up, it's a kind of bitter scent that that surrounds him. This doesn't translate well into current cinematic situation, unless although they have tried in cinema, like I know there was one director that had like tried to incorporate smells into the theater. But yeah, those who've been around him would kind of notice, oh, he doesn't have quite that kind of florid aroma anymore, and that there's a little bitter scent that surrounds him.
Excellent. Does anyone else wish to take any sort of similar precautions?
What was I gonna say? Sorry, I get distracted. Dave, sorry to do this. I might have to open door right now. As much as that's amusing. I got really sick last night, and I thought I'd beaten the bug, and turns out I haven't.
No problem, Leandro. If you're not feeling well, and I know you're safe, go and rest, my friend, and we will catch you up. We'll obviously record the session, and we will see you next week if you're not feeling well.
About that.
No, not at all. Go on, go and look after yourself. Much more important.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Okay.
Have a good game, folks.
Cool. So what just happened there, if you're watching past, we use another safety tool called Open Door. If a player for any reason is feeling unwell or can't attend a session, preferably if we can heads up, then it's a scenario where that person can step away. And Leandro, I think, has realized they're not feeling very well, so they're best to step out of the game and rest, which is perfectly and correctly right. Okay, so we will carry on with our 3 adventurers this morning, at least the morning for me anyway, instead. Is that all okay with everyone? Cool, lovely. So yes, Dallas, was there anything you wanted to do in terms of defensive measures or protection?
Nope. That's is just going to be pumped.
That's what we want to hear. Innocence and trust, unlike miserable Varin and the 75-year-old boomer magic. And Abraxas. Anything for you?
Yeah, no, Abraxas has no need to take precautions especially not in the shambles. He knows this place like the back of his hand. Absolutely nothing could surprise him here. He's certain of it.
Excellent. So, the warehouse is a bonded warehouse. It's a sort of place where goods don't really enter into Bral. This is a staging place where goods will sit, never leave the warehouse before shipped back out. It is a fine storage place for halfling whiskey. And it is never ever taken out of this and sold as bottles under the bars and taverns in Bral. And when you arrive, Blue Rose it's more, when I say map, it's more like it's a shifting pop-up book of the castle, the grounds. It's three-dimensional as they sort of flip a page and they're looking down into the grounds underneath. And she waves to see the three of you arrive, or one by one, presuming you arrive separately rather than together. She says, Varin, Abraxas, I know that you undoubtedly do know each other, but may I introduce you to Delos? And she points over to our new adventurer.
I think the first thing Thessos does is run over to the book and is like, "Whoa, what is this? This looks so cool!"
She looks impressed and smiles and goes, this is a book of schematics. It allows us to take a closer look at our target and make sure we are understanding where we are trying to get into.
That's so fancy magic.
Says useful nonetheless, yes. And yes, she says that you may wish to introduce yourself to I said to Abraxas and Varin.
Oh yeah.
Abraxas is less forgiving than you are.
Oh. I look over and I'm like, I'm gonna guess you're Abraxas, and I point to Varen. Because you're older.
Well, Varen would say, you have mistaken me. Although I'm, I'm not offended. I mean, I'm honored to be mistaken for Abraxas. Varen is very slight and small compared to Abraxas. I stand about 5 feet tall. I'm 75 years old, and yeah, so. But I do keep myself young, so yeah, the fact that I would still be mistaken for somebody like the youthful Abraxas, that warms my heart, that I still have my youthfulness about me.
Yeah, and Abraxas is a tiefling with deep red skin, big horns, this dragon skin, dragon scale coat. It's not dragon skin, but he'll sort of fold his arms over his chest and say, don't worry, kid. Rose here loves to exaggerate. I'm perfectly charming once you get to know me. And he gives a big grin. He's also probably maybe a year or two older than Chase. Older than Chase. I'm reading the name of the thing. Older than Delos. He's not much more experienced in the ways of the world. But he will say, so what can you bring to the table, Delos?
Well, I'm really good at punching things and hitting them with a stick. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make sure you guys stay in one piece. You know, protect y'all and everything and all that good stuff. And then just like, pose dramatic, just like proud.
To which point Blue Rose says, "Indeed, it is always important to have some muscle in the mix. May I
Yeah.
also introduce you?" And she points to a young androgynous-looking figure that is sort of mapped in stars and constellations, which sort of glitter and illuminate on their skin, and says, "This is Seraphim. Seraphim is a wizard, always useful." And I've just put a picture of them into the chat there. And I can also point out, it says, "And this is my first mate and most effective um, spy and thief." And she points and introduces you to Gunther von der Pomp, who is a frog-faced rapscallion figure carrying a rapier. Says, "I have dispatched Hallow to deal with the another matter. I'm sure they'll be more than able to come back to us with some clear intelligence. Says it's more of a where next than a what now. And ultimately, if we're going to do a rather skullduggerous intrusion into a palace, everything that Hallow needs to do is mostly not be seen."
Oh, so nobody will see how cool I am.
Excellent. So, my friends, we have multiple entry points in. She sort of flips to the map and it says, "Of course, Varin will be attending as a guest to the redoubtable Lady Dara. What do you think is the most effective way in for you, Abraxas?"
Well, I can try and charm my way in, I guess, and he'll give another grin. Otherwise, and he'll sort of study the sort of, schematic in the book and say, otherwise, I guess I could go for a second story entry, just try and get in undetected.
Said, "I think that's potentially a good idea. Now, what I know is that there is," I said, she sort of flips over the book and it's it goes all the way up into the different stages of the great ballrooms of the palace. It said this is likely to take place out in the grounds. The weather is good. They have paid a wizard to ensure that there will be no rain clouds, and I have paid this wizard to ensure that fireworks may always be available should we need a distraction. Um, so what I'm going to give people here effectively is you can note it down to experience on your let's say equipment on your character sheet. She passes out a small little pinch of powder in a little paper wrapper. If you use this, and it's one shot, if you use this, it will create a fireworks distraction, allowing you to snip away should you be spotted or ambushed. She sort of points to the effectively, if we were to look on the Rock of Abraxas, sorry, the Rock of Bral map, she's pointing to the maze, and he said, of course, the highlight of the evening will be people going into the maze. That's the point where we should take our moment to make our way through. And she points then to the rock, or so the outcropping to the top right hand side of the map, and says that is where the ships will be held. Said the most straightforward way is down through the boat houses, past the guards, and to the ship itself, before the ritual of bonding is done by the Iron Lord's son. The most daring way is over the side of the rock and through the open crevices where you are less likely to be seen. Thoughts, my friends?
Well, I guess we could go down the rock itself. I suppose. I mean, I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can put paid to a few hired guards between us. But if we can avoid having to take them on in the first place, I say that's all for the better.
What do you think, our brave fighter?
I mean, I think I could take on a lot of people, but like, I don't want to have to put you two in a sticky situation. So I'm fine with that plan of Raxus.
And Varin?
Yeah, stealth for me is I'm not somebody who needs to make a big display or a big show, especially when a heist is being pulled off. I think that there'll be plenty of opportunities, I think, for more forward action once we successfully are aboard ship and sailing away.
Wonderful. So we have a cunning plan. But there still remains, I think, the most important thing that we do have to discuss, Varin. What will you be wearing to the ball? Surely not that. She points to whatever it is you're wearing.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could help me out. What does, I mean, the invitation to the ball came as a complete surprise to me, and I'm well, I've never been to such an occasion. What would you suggest, Blue Rose?
She smiles. Mostly I do pirate chic. I would imagine Abraxas, she points to. I said, or Gunther will be the most likely to give you fashion advice. Abraxas, do you do makeovers?
I mean, I certainly know a couple of places where you could get something a little more on fashion than that. I think I think it's probably not Abrax's area of expertise. I think he's definitely more about style than fashion. But no, he will say. I mean, I guess just you know,
He's digging at those
anything
good ones.
anything that looks a bit less like a sack would be good. A bit of tailoring in there.
Gunther tucks his lips and goes, no. If it is necessary for us to find you with style, this is for Gunther, and you and I will travel together. I have a tailor.
Gunther, I'm in your debt. I can't wait to see what you have in mind.
No, I think nothing of it. Besides, it will be the tailor you will be in debt to. Yes. He sort of draws his fingers up and looks at you, and he says, "What are your thoughts about yellow?" And we can probably cut that scene. I think Bruro suggests that maybe if you're going to go down the rocks, doing some scouting of the area and trying to see what your entry points in might be a sensible opportunity, whilst Varin and Gunther go to do a makeover. Don't get makeovers in D&D. Does anyone want to do anything else with their characters, or NPCs, or connections in a moment that they would like to pick up with? Okay. So maybe then let us cut to the outsides of the compound of the Rock of Bral, of the Iron Lord's Keep. Its walls, it doesn't have walls so much as I think almost like a rainbow field that you currently see. And now and again, as the light and the moisture moves, you will see it, and you will see that there is a definite barrier here, but there are no walls as such. It covers around pretty much to the edge of the rock. Will offer little protection unless you're careful and cunning. There are watchtowers with dwarven guards, not that much paying attention. At least when you go around the sides, they're not paying attention. And the grounds look, compared to the shambles, the grounds are lush. There are trees everywhere. There is a maze. There is the little lake, which is the personal water storage for the Iron Lords. And you can see beyond the, probably about 100, 150 meters away from you, the entry and exit way that you're looking for the dockyards and the ships. And I think the two players I would frame in this scene are Abraxas and Deathless.
Yeah. So I think the first thing that Abraxas is going to do is, as he's kind of just, I think he's doing the sort of nonchalant stroll around the edge of the grounds, and he's going to just kind of with the tip of his boot find a loose stone or something, and is going to kick that at the magical barrier and see what happens.
Why don't you roll a d20 to see what happens?
Excellent.
That's what's gonna be like. Oh, I love this game.
That is a 4, which I believe is what I got last time. I had to roll a d20.
So, as we, if anyone again, we will do this and make sure Chase is sort of aware here that in this game there is no ability modifier. Rolling a d20 flat if your character doesn't have a special ability. A little like Power of the Apocalypse games, there is failure, tough choice, success, but you still have that sort of D&D-ish critical. Like a 1 is really bad and a 20 is woohoo. So the natural 20 woohoo is still part of this game. So you roll a 4 there, which is a failure. You fail your intended action and face a setback of the guide's choice. So I think as you kick the rock, you see it reverberate this sort of empty space as if there is a full rainbow in front of you, prismatically glittering. The rock bounces off with a spark, and it gives off a boom. And you see a dwarf in the tower looking down at you, and dwarves on the other side of the gates looking out at you, going, "Oi, what are you doing?"
watch there. I'm just out here for a bit of a stroll. I thought it's a little bit it's a little bit fresher up here than it is down in the shambles. Sorry, I didn't mean to set off your magical what's it there. I was just kicking a stone.
He and two other dwarves sort of look at you and go sort of like, said, this ain't a promenade. And the dwarf and the three dwarves sort of walk towards you, and the lights of the rainbow sort of parts as the three of them are definitely coming out towards you. And the dwarf goes, "Oi!
What? Look, hey, I'm out here on this side of the wall. I've no intention of coming over there. Sorry for as I say, sorry for messing up your magical what's it. I'll just find somewhere else to go for a stroll. Sounds good to you?
And says, I don't like you shambles lot coming up here. This is for proper people. And I figure the best thing we can do is to give you a little bit of a small doing over so you know your place, Sunbeam. And he takes out his cudgel.
Am I in this scene as
Yes,
well?
you are, Deslet. You are in this scene as well.
Okay, so Deslet's is going to take a step forward and be like, whoa. There is no need for all of this. Y'all are just like angry and upset because you're up this early and you haven't had breakfast yet. So maybe you guys could turn your little feetsies around and go back over to where you need to be and actually get some food in that belly or something. And I want to use the ability that I have here called Yacht, which is to try and like use bravado to like frighten them away.
Yeah, you may make a show of bravado to frighten nearby creatures. Any common folk nearby will seek shelter, run away, or attempt to appear non-threatening. These definitely count as minions.
Yeah.
Okay, so this will cost you one of your APs, so I'll take that off your AP total at the top for you. So your adventure points go down, and then this is one of the ones which does require a roll. So would you like to roll a D20 for me?
Okay. I got a 14.
Cool. So a 14. This is ability driven. So what does it say on a 940? It says
one minion flees the scene.
Yeah. So out of the two, the three dwarves, one of the dwarves behind the one who's giving you all the noise goes, says, they're right. Said, I haven't had, I've only had 2 breakfasts this morning. He said, I want coffee. He says, no, we have to fight these people. I don't want to fight these people. He said, why do we want to fight these people? I said, they're just, oh man, no. He said, I'm not getting blood on my, we've got a party this evening. And he sort of wanders off. The other one looks a little bit confused. And then the ringleader is sort of weighing up his choices and says, I've got my eye out for you. If I see you anywhere near this place again, then it'll be the end for you. You'll spend the rest of your days in the Iron Hall's dungeons. Understand?
So, yeah, sure. I don't know where that is, but I trust you.
So one of the other dwarves is about, but you see, by looks of it, to point over helpfully to where it is, and the leader of the group taps his hand and says, "No, it's a metaphor, not directions."
Thank you, though.
And the dwarves sort of eye you up and down, and sort of look at you, saying, says, mutters and wanders away, going, "I'm sure I know that tiefling," and he sort of looks at your red skin and mutters and wanders away. So after the I'm not a cat, I had wander around this week looking at how people have done I'm not a cat, and it's easy to put this into your Zoom. I shared with Rich Rogers yesterday how he can turn himself into a stormtrooper at any point for his Star Wars Saturday games, and he was extremely excited.
Excellent. Yeah. So, and I think, Bex is going to turn around to Della, say, nice work there, kid. Well,
Yep.
I guess we definitely know this wall's got some pretty serious magic going on with it. So
Yeah, it's all rainbow and stuff.
yeah, let's see if we can't find a better place to get a view of the landscape.
Let's cut the scene from there as you're doing that. And let us see how Varin is in. I think we sort of see a series of montage scenes as Gunther von der Pomp is trying different outfits on you, in increasing potentially ridiculousness, appropriateness. And he sort of says, "Why do you cover your face so much in a robe? You have wonderful cheekbones."
And this again is new for Varen. So Varen is but Varen is always kind of game for something new, and so he's I think into the whole trying on a different look. I think one thing that becomes apparent is the Varen is slight, and the robes actually make him look bigger than what you would imagine, so that you kind of definitely, as he's kind of working through some of these different outfits, you see that he is a rather diminutive person, although Gunther probably is also kind of picking up that there is a kind of strength to Varen that is surprising.
He nods and then pulls away from you a wonderful looking cape, which is embroidered with velvet and embroidered with golden stars. He goes, "There." Said, "That will do wonderfully. It will mean that you will look yourself, but better." Yes. He says, "Now," said, "I was thinking that perhaps there is an opportunity for at least one, maybe all of us, to attend with you as your entourage. All we'll need is a carriage." Said, "Do you think Abraxas Hart could dress up and pretend to be a groomsman?"
um, um, the question is not whether he could. The question is whether he would. I think Abraxas is very proud, and the idea of I don't know. I mean, him even kind of wanting to appear as a servant of some type is not necessarily his his uh uh his jam. But how about a bodyguard?
Says, "That would be sensible, but I would suggest in that instance you would take Deslas, and perhaps, he says, perhaps I could be a groomsman. Yes, I know at least etiquette." I said, "I am from a high society and like that heart."
Yes, and I think Deslas would be happy to be swaggering in. I just met him, but he seems like the swaggering type that would, being a kind of bodyguard would suit him. But then Abraxas, what do we do with him?
Oh, I think perhaps Abraxas is best with Seraphim and the Blue Rose. If anyone can keep his hot head in place, I would imagine it is her.
Yes, Blue Rose and I go back sometime, and she does seem to have a knack for steering a course through difficult waters.
He nods and puts your signature down on an IOU for the tailor and says, "Now we have sorted out your clothing. We must deal with your eyebrows."
And he's feeling up here. Oh, yeah.
Let's cut the scene. Does anyone want to do anything else before we sort of start move into the trying to get through the party and the grounds? Seeking anyone out or doing anything that I haven't thought about. Look, so why don't we take 5 minutes there? We'll do 2 short breaks today because it's likely to be a 3-act sort of story. So we'll take 2 short breaks and then we'll come back and see how everyone gets in and how their plans play out. So I think, as I say, I don't think it's difficult for you to get into the party. It has been prepared and expected for. You are an invitee, Varin. So you, Gustav von der Pomp, as your groomsman, and your bodyguard,
Yeah.
Desolus, are able to assist, and she's in the NPC tab on chapter NPC section, chapter 1, Rock of Bral. Lady Dara, our 150-year-old dwarven merchant prince. She looks at you and your fancy cloak, Varian, and says, "Well, don't you fill out a outfit well? I wasn't entirely sure what was under those robes." And so she sort of reaches out her hand to you to be kissed expectantly.
Yeah, he takes the hand, and I think a little awkward. He initially thinks it's like a handshake, and she has to kind of like force her hand up a little bit to kind of cue him in. But then he kind of bows down and cautiously gives her hand a peck.
Von der Pomp sort of shakes his head at you, Desolus, and sort of puts his froggy fingers against his brow and massages it, going and like says he knows nothing of romance. But the whom's of the Rock of Bral is here. There are hundreds of guests from various different stratas of the society. If they are people that you would recognize from the shambles and the docks, they are most likely to be the merchants and the traders. But this is a grand affair to have the Iron Lord's son come of age. So it's fitting that those who should be in attendance are here. Certainly very few of the most common folk, and you can see that very much those who are from the less wealthy merchant castes are undoubtedly kept to different parts of the party. Luckily, Lady Dara is wealthy and has an all-access arrangement.
VIP.
Exactly so. Whilst outside, we see the wizard Seraphim, the pirate Blue Rose, and the invoker Ambraxas Heart. How do you think you are planning to get yourself in, Abraxas? What is the agreement you've come to with the other two?
Yeah, I think we're going to be going for a kind of classic, like trying to sneak in through one of the upper stories, and evade guards and that sort of thing.
Cool. How do you think you're going to get past the barriers? I suppose it's the first thing.
I think we're as I think maybe we're getting in through the external gates. I think there's obviously like deliveries of food and drink and stuff coming and going that are being kind of moved to one of the outbuildings. And I think we're doing the old hanging onto the underneath of a cart as it's being sort of allowed through the magical perimeter.
Okay, so unless you have any ability that is appropriate to this here, you will need to roll a d20 to see how successful it is and see if we can get you above a 5 today.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. That's an 11, so yeah, it's getting there.
So 11 matters because 11 is the success threshold, right? So it is, you succeed without compromises. So at that point, yes, underneath the cart, the three of you, or in the hay or wherever it may be, different carts, you make it past the barriers and into the grounds and the kitchen area unseen. You push yourself out. Blue Rose does the same. Her pirate garb, she sort of adjusts a button on a coat, and with a pop, she looks like she is dressed as a member of the serving staff, whilst the glittering skin of Seraphim, they cast a little spell upon themselves, and they almost fade from your view. And looks at you and says, "Right." Says, "So we're going to go through the buildings and down."
Yeah, I think that sounds like the best plan. The way I figure it, when with all the festivities and whatnot going on, everyone's attention should be focused on all the audience chambers and feasting halls and such like. So if we should have hopefully a fairly easy go of it through the upper floors.
Okay. Grand said, "Then let's go. I will come back to Deathless and Varin. Uh, a fruit punch is sort of primarily what is being sold. That and wine. These are stylish dwarfs and do not quaff beer from tankards. And you're looking around at the various to-dos. The thing I suppose that strikes you as strange, Varin, is as you're making your way through the ground, you've never been into the grounds before. What would be Varin's view of seeing saplings from the prismatic wood growing here?
That would be surprising. Because I mean, surprising in part because I would normally expect that I would know about it, that it would have come through, me and somebody else from my order. We have a small contingent here, and nobody has mentioned this. And the Blue Rose got us kind of set up on the rock. But I never really knew that the people in charge here would have had some connection with the prismatic wood. I mean, we since we've been established here, the powers that be haven't really reached out to us at all. I mean, it's yeah, odd that would be growing there, and they're saplings, so this has happened recently.
Do the trees of the prismatic wood, do they get trained and shaped, or do they allow to grow in however way they normally want to? How are they normally tended to as trees with you as their keepers?
Yeah, we don't shape them. I mean, I think we do tend to them, that we you know, we make sure that they are spread out enough that they have, you know, room for their roots to grow, and so that they can be full and flourishing. But yeah, we aside from that, it's not like we make a hedge out of them or anything like that.
Whilst these you think are being grown, and you can see that they are like metal collars around them, and they're being tended in certain ways to grow, you think, which will make a lovely, pretty, glittering summer seat for someone to sit after a promenade on the top of this like, sort of shallow hill looking down. And you sort of see Lady Dara going, she goes, so those are new.
Yes, they are new. You don't know anything about them, do you? They're from from where I come from.
Said these grounds, said I. She points further out towards the lakes and says, my dwellings are on the lake. I don't normally come this far in. It looks like someone has taken a fancy to your shining woods. If I knew they were for sale, I would have happily have bought some.
Yeah, so can I get up there to kind of
Yeah.
look at the, okay, so yeah, I think Varen kind of goes up to kind of take a look at these plants. I was just looking at one of my and you said that they are being kind of they have like wires on them to,
Yeah, it's just clear that a gardener is trying to make them behave in a particular way.
yeah, yeah, I think that what I will do is when you know, after kind of taking note of this, say, Lady Dara, if you could give me a moment, I think I need to go. Do you call it the powder room? I need to go to the powder room. Is that how it's said in these circles?
Yes, yes, that is how we would describe it. Varin. I said, do seek me out once you're finished. You are my date. I require a dance, and I would love to know how I can get some of those shiny trees.
And when Varen has a moment, I think he'll the least I can do is try to, I can't take these well, how big are the saplings? Could I take them with me, or is there are there a lot of them that would?
I think there's 3 or 4, and you would guess they're about 6 months, 3-year old. I think they're probably too big to
Yeah.
take, unless you want to carry 3 small trees under your arm for.
Well, at the very least, I think to assure myself that I've done something, I think I will cast my command nature to get them to kind of release themselves a bit from the wires that are constraining them. This is a 0. I have two possibilities here, but one is I have to come up with a rhyming couplet. And I can produce a harmless effect by getting them to move or grow slightly.
Then you can definitely do that. Let's hear your rhyming couplets.
It would go something like, oh, plants from the woods who are now in chains, grow and unwrap yourself so you can avail yourself of the reins.
And that's an AP cost, yeah.
It's this one, the harmless one is a 0.
Then
is
you've
a
done your
0.
rhyming couplets. You've provided us a thoughtful narrative through rhyme, so they react to your words. Do you want to describe how they will react to you?
Yeah, they start to rustle. You see the limbs starting to move. I think I help out a little bit. I will kind of like help them to kind of get their branches removed a bit from the constraints of the wires that are surrounding them. And you see them grow slightly, right? I mean, and part of it is that they're kind of unwrapped a bit from their constraints, but there also seems to be a kind of visible growth if somebody was there kind of watching them. And they now seem, to my eyes, more happy and proper as trees, and clearly are not going to be acceptable for like chairs or such things that they were being kind of constrained to become.
Excellent. They glitter and stretch and are away. I am assuming that Teslas is at your side while this is going on.
Yeah, I think that sounds just like. So, by powder room, are you trying to use the firework powder, or are we just standing here? I'm not quite sure what your plan is.
No. The powder room is not for the fire powder.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was cold or something. I know you got like a lot of
No,
experience.
I think we should keep the firework powder for for the special moment.
Okay. So then what are we doing here? What are you doing? Are you staring at the plants?
Yeah, these are I've got the dog that's barking now. I don't know. Come here. Yeah, the plants are from my world, the prismatic wood, and they're being abused. They're being abused here.
No, we gotta take them out of here.
Well, if the opportunity allows us, but
I
don't
put my
know.
hand on your shoulder. I'd be like, I'll save them. Don't worry. When I get the chance.
Well, but we've done what we can for them right now. I think that they'll be okay. And yes, let's keep in mind that if we have a chance to remove them safely, that we should do that.
Yeah, they're a national treasure to you, so that's what matters.
And before I move the lens, so to speak, how do you plan to get towards the prize, the ship? I think to give you cover for the moment, it is likely the case that Gunther von der Pom has gone to distract Lady Dara for as long as he possibly can. But how do you plan to get towards the target, which is this ship? Let me leave you to think about that if you don't have an answer right now, and I will come back across to Abraxas and the other part of the crew. So yes, you are safely in. You don't. I assume you don't look to servant here, Abraxas.
No, I don't think Abraxas has really made any effort to disguise himself. He probably has like a a sort of bandana that he can wear as a mask is about his only real concession to appearing stealthy. So yeah, I think he is going to be at least trying to rely more on flitting from shadow to shadow and the like.
Wonderful. So the entrance to the say almost the to the little private dock side here is cast out of marble and stone, gilded and effective, and it has gilded in iron, clearly as the Iron Lord. It has got that granity look about it, and there are guards upon the door standing there. In fact, one of them is the guard that you encountered earlier. They are dressed for festivities, as well as before. They now have a ringlet of flowers around their helmets. They do not necessarily look like they are enjoying the partying atmosphere. They are mumbling to each other and going like, you would say like, why do we always have to be on guard? Why do we never get to go to the parties? It says we're guards, we're not, and the conversation sort of goes on like that. But the dwarves are somewhat distracted, giving you a chance. But the main way into that door is there. You'd have to potentially climb and scale the building, or try and find another way in if you don't want to go through them.
Yeah, I think when as they're sort of distracted, I think that Brax is going to kind of sneak up a bit closer, and he has his he's going to detach his whip from his belt, and is going to attempt to do the Indiana Jones thing and kind of lash onto a sort of gargoyle or other outcropping on the maybe like a sort of little one of those little balcony things on the floor above, trying to hook around and climb up that way.
Okay. Do you have any specific abilities you're drawing to this, or are you?
No, I do not. I'm going to go for a straight up roll, I think.
Okay.
And that is a 2.
Oh no.
Your there's the crack of your I suppose your whip holding on, and you're halfway up, and all of a sudden you realize your hold was not as strong as you wished it to be, and you find yourself falling. I'm going to give you the choice of losing your whip, which will clatter slightly to the ground, or fall, or maybe you can try and stop yourself from falling, but otherwise you are likely to hit the ground with a thump, unless there is something else you wish to do, but you are falling. And probably because the other two are behind you, they are falling as well.
Sure thing. I think I think that that as I think maybe I'm going to lose my grip on the whip and have that fall to the ground, and try desperately to like grab onto Rose as well.
Cool. So I think if it's just you can grab on. The other NPCs are probably all right, but you have lost your whip, and you're halfway up the wall. And Blue Rose sort of looks up at you from beneath you and says, when we get through this, I'm going to tell you about the wonders that are known as grappling hooks.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I was just improvising with what I had to hand.
So goodness forbid that we had to plan for something like this. But you climb up to the roof, and there is one of those sort of raised windows looking down into the area below. It is a granite, but shined granite and iron. There are various pictures of different glittering spheres, star maps on the wall, a contraption of metal and brass, which whirs around, showing you spheres and suns moving, and you think they're supposed to be showing the trajectory and the direction of the asteroid, which sort of moves gently through the stars. And you can see below that the hangars of the dock and the star jammer vessels below, and Blue Rose points to one of them and says, "That's the one." Says, "It's not been touched. Its helm will take inquiry from any who wishes to." I said that, of course, the more of us that are here, the more likely it is that we'll all be able to command it. It says, "Unless, of course, you wish to make a break for it. Just us three." She looks around, looking pleadingly at you.
We can't leave the others behind. We'll manage this all together. But I think Brax's gaze is more attracted to the big astronomical display in front of him. And is looking at it with obvious wonder and says, "So where do you plan on heading to once we've got a hold of this thing?"
She smiles and says, "A lady never reveals her secrets." It says, "But really, truly, there is." So, "If we get this ship, I'll explain. Trust me."
"Always, Rose." And he'll look and say, "Well, I guess we'd better make sure things are safe for the others when they get here." And I think, Abrax is going to kind of quietly and carefully move around the place and sort of check the approaches, check for guards, that sort of thing.
Wonderful. So let's see again. Let's see how successful you are in that, if you wouldn't mind. Let's roll. Unless there's a specific ability using to escape your way in. Possibly do have some which are appropriate. Otherwise, it is just to sneak on through with a D20.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything particular around this sort of stuff. So no, I'm going to. Oh, actually. That is an 8.
So that is a yes, but with a complication. So as you make your way down and open the window, we see you sort of slowly making your way, passing back and forth. I will just need to think about what my difficult choice is for that. I'll come back to that one. We come back to you with the camera. Let's cut across to Deslus and Varin, because you have slipped your date for the evening. Gunther has bravely thrown himself into that entanglement, giving you the chance to make your way if you should wish to. What is your plan?
Yeah, so I was just looking at the map, and I would tell Deslus that, look, we can go through the maze, and we can find that kind of northerly side of the maze. I could get the plants to kindly open up for us, and we would be
Cheating.
on the other side.
Okay. We can cheat through the maze. That sounds fun. I mean, for a good reason. It's for a good reason. We don't want to have to fight people, right? So, yeah.
Cool. So does that cost you any abilities, or is it a simple do?
It's another rhyme that I would need to make.
Dessos is like, man, he just says poetry randomly. It's just so interesting.
Because this is another harmless effect, right? I'm just wanting the thick.
Yeah, I think, you know, I'm happy for writing couplet poetry. You can give me beat poetry or give me a great rap. I don't mind, but I think that's
Okay.
the thing. I quite like this about the game, that it makes you do things narratively to get your powers to come off.
Yeah, so I think I get up to that edge and I kind of outline a kind of door-like shape, and I say something like, oh, plants of the hedge, I know your lore. Please open up. Please show us your door.
Beautiful. And I think there's a creak as the all of the branches untangle and creak outwards, showing you a narrow gap the two of you can escape out, because everyone else is now truly busy trying to escape the ways, because there is a prize for the first one out. So most of the party guests are in here, giving you the perfect time.
Yeah, so I would like being polite would let Deathless go through first,
Yep,
and
because I'm the bodyguard. Here I go.
yeah, and I guess that would put us fairly close to where we need to be, provided I got us through the right part of the hedge wall.
Yes, you're close, and you can see across that same building I've been describing for Abraxas, which is the so it's that stone and steel building, marble granite, polished, and the guards are outside, and you were probably closing in as you saw them on the roof disappearing down and in. What you see, which is possibly concerning, is something sort of draws itself up from shadow on that rooftop and follows them down through the window, and you don't think they saw it. There's the difficult. So there's something on their tail, and what do you think a shadow creature like this probably is? I'm going to ask either Destless or Varen can answer that. What do you believe it is?
Dessos is going to be like, is it evil? And is going to try and get its attention. Actually, I can provoke it to come after me instead.
Okay.
That way I can just kind of get it off what the sneaky counterparts are doing.
Grand. Okay, so before it swoops down, if you wish, if you do this, it will definitely follow you. It will also give away your location to the guards, so they will be another complication for you to deal with. But your brave heroism will not go unrewarded, I'm sure.
Yeah, I before I do, I'm gonna look over to Varen and be like, I'll take care of this, and I'm gonna run out and to the area and do like, dark evil thing, why do you creep on these walls? I will purge you from this area. And take out my bow staff and stamp it on the ground.
Cool. The shadowy creature, seeing you and that it is spotted, slinks down the wall, but the guards spotting you going like, said, we're not evil. And it said, it's like, I'm not taking that. And the dwarves are running towards you, drawing their maces. The shadowy creature has been surprised. It recoils. It's almost like you are looking, I suppose. The shadow is almost human-like in shape. It grinds and sort of expands out. It does not want to be seen. The fact that you have seen it and called it out seems to do it demonstrable harm. It's not going to engage with you at this point, but the guards arm, but equally you have diffused the threat for the ones inside the building. Is that all okay with everyone? Everyone cool with that? What do you do, Varen, when this goes on, so I can position in my mind where you are before we come back to you in a moment?
That shadowy creature, what exactly does it do? I mean, is it taking a new direction, or?
Oh yeah, it's gone down the wall and it's trying to flee. Now it's it has been seen. It does not want to engage. You think it must have been following one of the people that it's gone down to the window, but as I say, it's specifically being seen and called out. Seems to shriek in pain, and it is pulling away. But they say that the threat you have got is the two dwarven guards who are on the door to the building that the ships are in. They were also drawn attention by the screeching. So the shadow is not a threat. The two dwarves are a threat.
Well, and it seems like what we need to do is to get on that ship. So Varen lets out a howl. Oh, and to help us out, this is going to be the wild aspect, which I'll put on me and Deathless, which will give us extra haste. So when it comes time to run, we can outrun other creatures while traveling by foot.
Awesome. Cool. So let's come back and see that in a minute, because you do hear that wolf howl outside. Abraxas and Blue Rose and Seraphim Seraphim's invisibility spell drops, and then he sort of holds out a small little charm, which you can see reflected in the little liquid inside it as it shakes. You can see outside going like, says, I think our friends have perhaps caused a distraction for us. I'm sure they'll get you fast enough. But I said, should we help them, or should we, and points down to the ship, go for the prize?
I think Abraxas is going to kind of glance at the little scrying charm thing and say, looks like it's only a couple of them. I say we secure the ship and get ready to make a fast exit when they get here.
So, sounds good to me. So, as you make your way down again, you spot. Sorry, I'm just gonna. As you make your way down through the stone stairways, we can see there is a bigger looking ship here. That one is clearly holding the symbols and signs of the Iron Lords, but the vessel that you are looking upon is clearly it has that feeling of, I suppose, one, that it is untouched. It is glitters with the power of travel, of hope, of exploration, but it is not sworn to a voice. You can see it's almost looking for a chance to be kept free. It is held on iron chains floating there in the space. It's glittering red, so glittering sails. Ooh, trying to put a picture of it. Fluttering. You've not seen a ship quite like it before. It looks, as I say, strange, but is looking for, you think, someone to sorry, put the link into the window to capture it. But the chains themselves are bound with magic, as it would seem are the defensive system that hold this place. The guards outside were the first part, but you don't trust ships like this with guards. Not when you could have metallic golems cluttering around the dockways below. They are uncorruptible. So there are 3 sort of small metal automatons making their way around the docks below, which are the last challenge you would have to get through to get to the ship. Outside, the scenario, I say, is very much that you are the 2 guards were trying to run towards you, but you could out the flank around them, you think, with this new gift that you've given, which is the ability that you have used here, Varian. And do you want to read out sort of its brief description for us?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Varian, do you want to, which ability did you trigger there? And do you want to read out its brief description to us?
Yeah, so yeah, it's one of the wild aspects. It's the wolf aspect. And it imbues up to 6 nearby creatures with haste. For the next hour, creatures affected by the spell can outrun any other creatures while traveling by foot.
That's fun. Okay, so take those off your APs if you haven't already. I think you have. So that's cool. So yeah, for you, this is, I suppose, normal. You've done it before, but when you hear that howl, Desolus, and you can feel a spirit of haste and wolf-like energy come over you, what does it feel like for you, and how do you react?
I feel the energy come in, and Teslas just thinks, I'm doing the right thing with the blessings that I have been bestowed upon me, and going to just be ready to bum rush through the 2 dwarf guards to get to where we need to get to.
So are you trying to take them on, or are you trying to slip past them? Can I sort of clear what your intentions are?
To run past them so they can't follow me fast enough.
Yeah, and I think that is exactly the case. And is that the same for you, Varun?
Yeah, I think Varen, it would be kind of like I'm using him as a blocker, and I'm the one kind of following behind my big blocker.
Wonderful. So with that in mind, the 3 of you, or the 2 of you, make your way in, and let's reunite the party at this point, because I think the space you've come in with, all of you are together looking down at the sort of stone and wood dockway below, and the ship that we've put into the chat window, and I think you probably arrive, Desolus and Varian, as Rose and Abraxas are having a discussion of what to do next. I think Rose's decision to say, enough, we can take these 3 automatons out. Let's attack directly.
I might be able to work a little something to give us an edge over them. Abraxas says, and he's going to reach. He's going to pull out a piece of paper, a piece of parchment, sort of thing, from his from inside his coat, and is going to just reach down to his rapier and just sort of nicks the end of one finger on it, and he draws in his blood a little sigil that on the paper, and I'm going to activate my sigil ability, which is a so I'm just checking. I'm assuming as I just want to check actually. It says the spell. It says you can only cast a spell if no enemies are currently nearby. I assume that means kind of engaged rather than
directly engage in a combat to get them away from you. Is my would be my reading. You're trying to address the challenge without going into all out fighting.
Yep, sure thing. And I am going to I'm going to draw out the sigil to repel these automatons.
Okay. So the automatons, I think, are oblivious to your passing with the repel. They do see you, but for whatever reason, your tiefling planar magics are anathema to them, and they can't seem to close in on you. So mark down your ability points that you could sort of stay them. You think they've probably seen you, but they certainly can't come closer to you. Does anyone else want to do anything else? But the threat is currently contained.
That's also going to be like, whoa, that's so cool.
Thanks, kid. I have a couple of tricks up my sleeves.
Oh, you wrote like weird words and stuff with your blood. That's crazy.
I think Blue Rose puts her arm over you, Deathless, and said, in all the years I have been out here, my kid, what I have learned is always make sure you have a tiefling as a drinking partner. And
okay.
I said they are such useful friends. But you are now able to make your way on board the ship. The mystical steel chain still hold it in place. Is anyone dealing with the?
How many chains are there?
There's two.
Guys, I got this. If you need some brute strength, I got you. I take my bow staff and I just kind of like stick it where the chain like can kind of like make a crowbar effect and just try and pop them off of the boat.
Okay. Do you have any abilities for this, or are you just trying to do it with raw physical strength?
I have this thing that says that my body is I'm always deadly so when I use my body. Oh no, that's with my hands if I'm using my hand.
So that's like
I guess I could kind of attack it, a wild attack.
Yeah, because on a wild attack you can yeah, because if you roll a d20, right? Because I think this is a show of real strength.
Put it. Oh, there it is. I found it. 17.
You deal double damage. Okay, so I think the fighter with their bow staff against this dwarvish iron. Do you want to describe what it looks like to us, Deathless, as you shatter the chains?
Yeah, I take my very traditional extra looking bow staff, and I just know where it could be the weakest, and when I smash it with all my strength, it just kind of cracks, shatters, splinters, and explodes in a way so dramatically. And I'm like, see, I got this.
Nice one. It's a shame to see a craft so beautiful as this one chained up like this.
I'm gonna get the other one, and I run over.
Yeah, we won't make you roll for the other one because that's good enough, as I say. But yes, it's the same repeat. And Blue Rose is heading straight for what you imagine must be the bridge and the captain's cabin on the vessel.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Did you say if I needed to roll for the second one or not?
No, don't worry about
Okay.
rolling for that. That's I think you have succeeded. So all is true.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, but Blue Rose sort of steps in and there's a sort of a central wooden dais and a ball of glass with star stuff flitting back and forth between it, sort of lines connecting through stars. I say this place or thing is slightly strange, but it is definitely a ship, and you can hear it sort of almost slightly singing to you.
So, do we have to do anything in specific to do this whole bonding thing?
And this is where Seraphim sort of smiles and stands and says, "Yes, we do." And they touch the center of the dais, and then the room is sort of glittering in this blue light, as if there are stars everywhere, and you can hear hear the voice inside the ship say, "said I am the Spiritfarer. Who are you?"
I'm Deathless. It's nice to meet you.
"Nice to meet you, Deathless. Will you be my captain?"
Oh. I look at everybody else.
Blue Rose sort of shakes her head, thinking, "No, I'm the Blue Rose, and we will be your crew, but we will all be the captain, so to speak. You are able to accept instruct from all of us. But I am the captain," she says.
Yeah, and Abraxas will say, "Yeah, my name's Abraxas Hart, and yeah, we'll be your crew, but a fine ship like you deserves to be free and out there amongst the stars, not chained down to a rock like this."
And yes, Varen, do you want to?
Yes, Varen will say, I am Varen from the Prismatic Wood, and I can assure you I will do my best to preserve you, and I will be a exemplary member of the crew, helping to keep you as glittering and as in ship shape as you deserve.
How exciting. And I think for you, Varen, you note that this ship, unlike many of the others you've seen, which are Spelljammer vessels, this is forged out of wood itself, like it's being grown in this form. It is not put together or assembled. It is strange. And so the Bureau says, "Wonderful. Now, all we have to wait for is Gunther, and to assume that Hallow has managed on their operation. But maybe we'll find out about how that pans out in about 5 minutes or so time, folks. Let's take our second break before we get into the third act, and I'll break for freedom." So, Spiritfarer's voice sort of echoes at all of you, and it says, "So you are my crew, and I am the Spiritfarer. I can take you where your heart desires. The journey will be the quest, and how we shall discover your desire and our." And then it sort of looks, and you can sort of feel for a moment minds touching between all of you as you're connected as a crew. And if you were to travel and you had all of the cosmos to see Varin, where does Varin? What is Varin's heart's desire? Where would they go, and what would they see?
Well, I think for Varen, it's not he doesn't know the specific location, but his desire, I can see how I put this on my character sheet. Yeah, that I have this dream of hearing the cosmic harmony of the ethereal spheres, and I would be desiring some place. I mean, there are places in the cosmos where that harmony is more pronounced, and so I would be looking for the ship to take me to the place or places where this kind of cosmic harmony is reverberating at a more higher volume than where we are right now.
Okay, so we see that, and we sort of see distant glittering cosmic light and ships in the distance, which are not so much flying, but swimming. And what about Abraxas's answer to that same question, your heart's desire?
Yeah, so I think that Abraxas has no fixed destination in mind. He wants to see as much of the as much of the multiverse as possible. So I think maybe it's almost for him that like we get one of those like dramatic like big pan backs from like where we are to sort of the Rock of Bral to sort of the area of space around it, and then sort of even further out, so I can see sort of a wash of like stars or celestial bodies or spheres, or however it all looks, sort of spread out, from a sort of extreme high point or distant point.
Excellent. And we see, I think we see, yes, definitely that. You can see all sorts of possibilities. But then somewhere in a rock, an asteroid, and the rock itself is cast out of a glittering silver with citadel-like towers. We see a figure looking out of the towers and into the darkness, and it's clearly like a prison cell that they're in. But the eyes looking back at you, Abraxas, are undoubtedly those of your father.
Awesome.
And given a chance to see the cosmos, Desolus, and anything and everywhere, what would be Desolus's desire?
I think to kind of speak the virtues of the Seekers and create more, in a way, like more villages that kind of imbue those virtues, and just expanding that so that it feels like everywhere could be his home and not just one place can be his home.
Okay. Whilst Blue Rose puts her hand on there, and she says, "I wish to see my my son again, and the ship says, but this will mean that we will go beyond the sunless shores." And it says, "It means I will, but the others will have a choice." And then the Seraphim touches it and says, "And what about you?" And Seraphim says, "I wish to go home." And we see a ship as big as a city, bigger than the Rock of Bral, and it is an echoing huge thing that is, for anyone who would have seen it or known it, and enough drawings and legends are told of the Spelljammer. It is a grand and fabulous creation. I think this is the point where, rushing onto the deck of the ship as well, we also see Gunther, who rushes on, saying, "It says, my destiny is to be away from here as soon as possible. Otherwise, I feel I am to be married."
Congratulations!
It said, "Goodness gracious me, Varin, you could have warned me that Lady Dara was looking for a love match."
Oh, Lady Dara, yeah, she is she is like some type of magical glue, right? Wants to stick two people together at any possible moment.
Okay. So at that moment, the ship glitters, and you can feel yourself as they connected. And at any time that you wish to, you may talk to another member of the crew from this point on, and all languages, at least verbally, not potentially written, are known to you. And then the ship creaks as it starts to cast off. And then you then sort of see the dwarf lords and their guards rushing in as the ship starts creaking away and outwards. And it says at this point, and now it says, "We must catch up with our good friend, Hallow, for I fear they are in trouble. And if they've done what I've asked, we might be a step closer to some of our ambitions." But what does it feel like as you cross past that threshold of the Rock of Bral and out into the void? The sort of the sails unfurl, and you can feel the ship accelerating away. You are not, you feel, going to get a chance to say goodbye to those you may have left behind. Your mum's going to be really pissed with you, Abraxas. So let us take a pause and give the characters a chance to talk to each other about their journeys and what they have just seen. We move this away into more character type play. At this point, as the ship is underway, it pilots mostly itself.
Yeah, I think Abraxas has as soon as the ship's underway, he's kind of run up to the oh God, I just realized I have to start remembering ship words. Up to the prow of the ship, and he's kind of all and any sort of his usual like bravado and studied aloofness is gone, and he's just like leaning over the forward rail, almost with that kind of like dog with its car head out of the car window look, as sort of they head out.
Deathless, how about you?
I think largely the same thing, except for much more louder and like more energetically, like, yeah! Guys, look at this. This is crazy. And like kind of like pet the ship, like, you're doing a great job. And just like running around looking at stuff. Kind of like a puppy loose in a pet store kind of thing.
The ship thanks you. It says, I am a good ship.
Yes, good ship.
Farron?
Well, yeah, I think one of the things that Varen would immediately be doing is he would get himself kind of into the center of the main deck, and he kind of kneels down and puts his hands on the wood, and kind of tries to kind of take stock of what this ship is. I mean, that it has this kind of, what you said, it seems to all be a continuous piece of wood.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, is it still alive, the wood?
Oh, yes. You do have a specific. You have abilities to do that, sort of assist with this as well, don't you? Or are you just sensing and you can roll a d20?
Yeah, I mean, I do have that one spell which works on living wood, but I don't have a specific spell to kind of assess. I do have one that applies to stone, but that would not be applicable here.
Yeah, so then roll a d20 to see what you can sense from it.
Okay. Oh, I rolled a 19.
Wonderful. So almost a critical, but certainly strong enough that it opens up to you and you can feel it. Yes, it has been more of a seed that opens, and it is cast from living wood, shaped by the will of spellweavers and its own desire. It is very much and truly what you would describe as alive.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Varen feels very, very warm, and a kind of confidence that kind of comes over him, kind of knowing that this is what is now propelling us across space. And I think the other thing that Varen would do is he would probably look for an opportunity to kind of get with Gunther. Really, I mean, as the kind of opening for conversation, just ask Gunther to, I'm not really familiar with these ships. I've been on some before, but would kind of want Gunther to see if he would kind of show him around the ship a little bit. And would do this both to find out about the ship, but also to just kind of get Gunther as just kind of warming Gunther up.
Yes, Gunther is. If I check the playbook, Gunther would effectively from the playbook would be the doctor. So he's gone to find what is effectively his medical bay, and has sort of already sort of unpacking his belongings. Um, he has a surprising amount of belongings in his small little bag of holding. He keeps sort of pulling out things and putting them down, and he goes, uh-huh. He says, this will do. I said, um, and he says, it says the ship. It is exquisite. No,
Uh, yeah, I don't know. Exquisite doesn't quite capture it. It's uh well, it is a work of wonder, I would say.
says yes, indeed. To be free, to be among the stars again. It says the Blue Rose has said that we will return to my home world, and I can once again set foot in the spawning ponds.
Oh, the spawning ponds. That um that sounds lovely. Uh, and I think, since he is the doctor, I think, Varen would, any, of the medicines that are kind of herbal in nature, he would, probably make some comments on those herbal plants and their their efficacy uh, when it comes to medicine.
I think yes. You have a he sort of looks at you and have that conversation. He will take out like a pipe and light it, and take out scrolls and says, "Yes, it is good to have someone who understands these things on board." And it said, "Ah, it was so hard to leave Bral though, Lady Dara. What a woman!" And he sort of lights his pipe, and I think. So anything else you want to see? We will roll across. Uh, Deskless, anyone from the crew that you were going to seek out, either PC or NPC?
Is there anyone who's just kind of not as excited as me? Like, like they're either like holed up or like not really super excited.
Um, I would say that Seraphim is middlingly excited, and the Blue Rose tends to be more focused on the journey, but not as excited. Less, in fact, you've just pulled this off. You would expect the Blue Rose to be
Super
more
ecstatic.
vocal than this, but they are focusing what it seems to be on trying to understand how to pilot the ship more effectively.
Okay, I'm gonna go over to Blue Rose and be like, "Hey,
She sort of looks up with a one eye and peers at you. Says, "Are you making yourself at home?"
are you? Because it just looks like you're still working. You already did the work."
This is just the beginning of the work. That's this.
Okay,
Said we have all of us, I fear, journeys to make, but mine is the longest of all.
that's okay. At least you're not by yourself. I heard what you said about looking for your son.
And I'm just going to pause there actually, because I checked the lines and veils, and death of children is, I don't see him as a child, as from as a young adult, but I'm going to change it and script change it from son to husband anyway, to avoid that line. So I think it's her um, husband, if that is
Oh,
all okay with everyone. Yeah. I just realized that no one called that out, but I think we'll keep to the truth of the safety tools. It says yes. It said if this, and she pats the spirit, if this is a spirit farer. Said once you've learned to command it, no world or plane is beyond our grasp. She taps it and strokes her hand across the wood. It said, even the sunless lands.
is that like a scary place or?
For me, it is a place of the dead. said
Oh,
I intend to storm heaven and steal back my husband.
oh, that's that's very devoted of you. And I gingerly pat her arm because I just, as a concept of like losing a loved one that close, Deslas has not had it before. So it's just kind of like, I am proud of you for going on this journey that is more than difficult than probably most people have even fathomed to do. So I'm here to support you, Blue Rose.
Says, it's my journey. I'm sure we will have many adventures before we are ready to cross that line. I would not expect any of you to come with me.
Well, at the very least, what we can do is celebrate. We can get some wine out, and you said you like drinking, so and partying with Abraxas. Maybe he wants to have a glass because you said tieflings are good at drinking. I don't know, but we could do that. We have fireworks. We could throw a party.
I think she cracks a smile and looks at you and says, Teslas, you were desperately needed by this crew. You're right. We're being entirely too serious and entirely too sober. At which point she says, as soon as we have retrieved Hallow, we shall indeed party, but right now we should still indeed have a drink. And she goes over and rings a little bell for everyone, and you sort of hear on the ship. It says, I think we have earned ourselves a toast and a glass when you are ready. But Abraxas, was there anyone that you were going to seek out, or anything you wanted to do?
Yeah, I think Abraxas is going to while everything else is going on, is going to wander over to Seraphim and say, "So, have you done much travel through the void before?"
Oh, across all of my lives.
Awesome. Any places you recommend?
So what do you? It seemed to me, my friend, that you wish to see wonder.
Yeah. I've spent all my life on the rock, so something with a bit.
And do you seek to see, or do you seek to be remembered?
I mean,
Are you a legend in the making, or a traveler on a journey?
I'd like to do something worthy of being remembered. Certainly.
Then I can think of a few places. Says, have you ever seen a god?
Not knowingly, certainly.
Then I can think of a place where you can dance with the gods, drink with the gods, and even romance them if your soul should take you. But definitely, that is a place where legends are made. I said, once we have retrieved Hallow, perhaps we will set course.
That definitely sounds like a lively party to go along to.
And looks at your dragon scale coat and says, a fantastic coat. Did you obtain it? Gifted? Taken from you, perhaps from a in a did Did you know the dragon that gave you those scales?
No, it was the man that taught me sword fighting gave it me. He said he had no need for it anymore.
Have you ever seen a dragon?
No.
Then I know just the place. And it says, looks at those scales and it says, to see those things so far away from home is a strange thing indeed. He smiles and says, we have all of time to find what we wish. And says, puts his hand on your shoulder and says, but it is, we must be careful of Blue Rose's melancholy. She wishes to do something incredible, which will be a legend in its own making. Whether they should do it, I think, is for all of this crew to decide eventually. Does anyone seek any more scenes before we raise a toast? Anyone want to talk to anyone else? So at that point, then I think a bottle of the halfling whiskey from the bonded warehouse is broken out, and a glass is poured for everyone, and a toast to the spirit farer is raised by the Blue Rose, who says, now, says, all we now have to do is hope Hallow has pulled off their part of the operation. Otherwise, we will have a quite significant problem to deal with. But as Leandro isn't here, we'll pick up and get Leandro into trademark Leandro trouble next session. We're a bit early there, but I say we'll play a short just in terms of that today. So if everyone's okay, we'll come towards an end of sort of cooldown and stars and wishes, and then we'll pick up in session 3 next week. Is that all cool with everyone? Okay, so if Chase, have you done stars and wishes before in games?
Yes.
Cool.
The last one I did it.
Yeah. So I like to use them just in case, because I think everyone else has played with me before. But stars, what did you like? What was awesome? What do you want to call out? Wishes, anything you want to see more or less of, and anything that you've got to hope for the next sort of game. I like to do stars first, so we do all the celebrations, and then we go back around with the wishes, so I can think of how to put you all together. Wishes are really useful for me, for I am fundamentally a lazy GM, and your wishes help me to figure out what the next adventure is going to be. So let's go in character keeper order and ask Robbie for his stars.
I enjoyed the session. I liked the heist of the ship that came together nicely, both with Abraxas's kind of work in advance, and Desolus and Varen kind of making the way through the hedge. That was all. I think that the choreography of that was kind of came together very nicely. Yeah, and and I mean, I do like the social aspects of the game. I mean, both in terms of what was going on at the party, as well as the kind of characters that we have on the ship as well. So that those kinds of social scenes are entertaining. But yeah, in terms of wishes, I mean, I
do
think
wishes after stars, if you
Okay.
don't mind. Just my preferred way of doing that. So if that's good for stars, I'll go across to David. Any stars? I think, are you next? Are you next on the sheet?
Yep. Sorry,
Yes.
no, I just lost my mute button. Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. Stars all round for that. Yeah. Chase, yeah, it was as well. For start, it's nice to meet you. As we haven't played before, I don't think, and but yeah, I really liked the enthusiasm that you brought with Desolus. I think that's going to be a lot of fun when we get into things. Yeah, I really just I enjoyed that enthusiasm and uh, uh, outgoing and sort of quite straightforward approach to things that Desolus has is very cool. Yeah, Robbie, I really like the whole the whole communing with the plant spirits bit, and also the again I think just in general the sort of Varin's attitude to the world is cool. And I think it's that sort of equally like open and embracing, but sort of in a more like chill and laid back kind of way. And I think that's really nice. Dave, I think just it's a nice setup and scenario for today. I enjoyed. I really like the whole setup with the ship. That's very cool. I like that idea of the sort of living ship is very is awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing more with that. So yeah, no, that's it was a good session. Thank you very much, everyone.
Cool. Just 2 seconds, sorry, folks. I think my wife's shouting with the cats. I just want to check everything's okay. Yes. Great. Chase, any stars from you?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for a smooth transition into the game from missing like the beginning part of it. It was super easy and very welcoming, so I appreciate everyone for making this not as nerve-wracking as I was in the beginning. Um, I really appreciate that I wasn't too loud, hopefully. Like that's us. But I'm excited because I love playing new systems and I never played this one before, and so far I'm having a good time. It's very smooth. It's like a easy, fun storytelling kind of device, and the characters mesh well, and I'm excited to see how the crew is going to evolve from here, whether it's like spiritually, mentally, like all kinds of different ways that they're all trying to grow from. So I'm excited for that.
Awesome. And I agree with everything that everyone said. I've loved seeing your characters grow up, sort of develop the voices more. Desolus is, I think, enthusiasm is great. I'm sure Abraxas can take you under their arms and teach you how to be as roguish as they are. And but my start does go to Robbie for doing not one but two rhyming couplets on the fly. Right, it's one of the things I do quite like about the abilities in this game. It does say you have to tell a story or make a quote or sing a song, and yes, I think it's I think it's I can't remember if it's the invoker or it's the naturalist one. No, the ranger. She's got you have to sing a song. So in the other, I'm playing this with my other regular Sunday night group, and in that game, they had to use an appropriate song to get out of this. So they were singing a verse from David Bowie's "Under Pressure" to escape the guards. Right. I think it's quite fun to have features in games which actually make you or help you to role play. We've got our grips around, I think, most of the system there, with the exception of the combat, which we will undoubtedly hit sooner rather than later, especially now we have a fighter in the party. Let's go back on wishes. Chase, do you have any wishes you'd like to raise?
Not much that comes to mind. I just like having like I always like character interaction, so just even more character interaction is would be great for me. Um,
Yeah.
that's it. That's it for me.
Yeah, a heist or a type of adventure has a specific structure. We won't have less
Mhm.
of that, a much more character-driven play. That's one of the reasons I was asking you for what all of your characters want to do now you're out here. So we will definitely pick that up next time. Once, of course, we've got Leandro out of trouble. David, any wishes?
No, I think the things I'm most looking forward to are some some exploring some new cool places, some swashbuckling action, and I think that's those are the main things I think I'm looking forward to seeing. That's it's cool, and also remembering to use some of my actual abilities, but that's more just a memory thing on my part than anything else.
Cool. I am half thinking if I get the time to do it, I will. I think maybe the characters on this is similar to I think David when we played Fellowship. It's nice to have a summary sheet, but I think there's enough moving parts. Maybe having a tab per character won't hurt here. In the game setup folder as well, there's also the PDF of the character abilities and moves. If anyone feels so inclined, you can print those off on a piece of paper, put them in, cut them off, and stick it in front of yourself, so you've got them. You've got them there. But I think as soon as we've got like one or two more abilities, that's going to be a challenge. I think otherwise to see it on a single sheet.
Though what I will also say from the sort of contrapoint that this actually almost also feeds back into like a style that I forgot, which is that I'm enjoying the fact that the way that like this game differentiates between stuff that you are actively skilled at doing, i.e. have abilities for, and stuff that you're not is much more fun to play with than in say D&D, because it's I like the fact that I can just the sort of trying to do the whole sneaky stuff on my part was just a case of it brings with it more risk of consequences, but it doesn't mean it's pointless me trying to do it because I don't have the ranks in stealth or whatever else. I think it does that balance really nicely. So it doesn't feel like you're missing out by just going to a regular roll rather than using an ability. So yeah.
It's just fundamentally right. There's wider numbers, but it's still a 3-factor Powered by the Apocalypse types rolls, but with very bad and really good attached to it. I felt when I read this game, it's like this is D&D for people like me. Robbie, any wishes from you?
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking that I haven't had much opportunity to play a game where being on a ship is like central to it. So I think one thing I'm looking forward to is how, right? I mean, that obviously changes things, kind of adds a little extra dimension to the adventuring to be on a sailing ship, spaceship type of thing. So I'm kind of just looking forward to how that develops.
Awesome. Cool. So we're just about 10 minutes ahead of schedule, folks. But with all in that, we will stop. I will stop recording this session.